What's up, everybody? We're back here with an old series that I haven't done in 3 years here on the channel. And we've got Flinter along with us today for our first Uncut hunt in about 3 years. The topic of today is going to be suppressors and thermal sights because of the recent additions of those items to Way of the Hunter 2. So, what do you think about how they did it in Way of the Hunter 2 for the suppressors in particular, Flinter?
So for the most part, I like what they did. I like that they separated basically like larger and smaller calibers. And I guess this is more of a Way of the Hunter specific thing, but having the larger caliber one, in their case, locked behind like a higher level, I do think it's something that you should have to work towards. But then again, I guess if you're purchasing it as a DLC, you can kind of go either way. But I guess my main complaint with them, the sound doesn't seem right to me. It feels like it just turns down the audio of the gun as opposed to like a truly suppressed fire sound. But I didn't notice any gameplay differences. Like, I tested it, at least in terms of the Hunter's sense. It doesn't show that the jewels are different. Like, you probably should lose a little bit of energy. Things like that. I think little details can make them a lot better. And if they were to come to Hunter Call of the Wild, especially for Great One grinding reasons, those little things, like there should be a difference beyond just what you hear.
Yeah, I like for the most part how they how they behave, but it does kind of feel like they did just lower the audio. I didn't notice it until like after I had already done a few hunts because I have my game volume kind of low anyway because of how annoyingly loud the water is. So I didn't notice how similar the sound of the shot is, but it's just quieter until like later. Very interesting choice.
Yeah, I noticed it on like my second shot, and I was kind of like, that took a little bit of the cool factor away from me. Like, I really wanted it to be like that. I'm not gonna try to imitate it. That distinctive suppressed fire sound. We all know what it sounds
snap. Like. Oh, we got something fleeing off. We got a level 7 fox.
We should be able to kill that. He's basically an exterior for me, so it's kind of helpful actually if we do.
Okay.
You got a crack at him.
It would help if I reload my rifle.
You don't need bullets for this.
Oh, man.
Get your suppressor out and take him down.
I'm going to go whisper at him. Maybe he'll die.
Maybe.
But, you know, that kind of... to your point of, like, the whole, like, different calibers for them, like the 2 caliber sizes, where does the smaller caliber one cut off? Because I was putting it on my 338.
It's supposed to be 7.62.
Okay, so... yeah, that's... I don't know. Because, like, the 338 is one of the biggest guns in the game. I think there's only one that's larger right now.
Yeah, it feels like... I don't know, 308 would be a good cutoff point?
Yeah, and I don't know if that is working properly then. Because, yeah, for me, I was putting it on all my guns. Oh, we got red grouse.
Like... the cheaper level 13 unlock one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the cheaper one. And I could put it on my 338.
Huh.
Look at those little guys.
Yeah, we can kill those. I need all the respawns for those I can get.
Yeah. Well, I have the 17. I can hit it from right here. That's exactly 150. Do you want to...
go for it.
Which one do you want to go for?
Are both males visible?
No, only one of them.
Below the hill. Go ahead, and I'll hope that I can get the other one.
Or we both shoot the male.
Or we can see what happens.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. 3,
2, 1.
Oh, he was stone dead the second you hit him.
The 17 did something. Let's go.
Red Grouse Drive?
Oh, she's going right at us.
Where's the
Get
man?
ready. I don't know. He's hiding from us.
Oh, well. Synchronized red grouse hunting? Let's go.
We took him down, too. That was a double kill. I think I got mine
Beautiful.
at least. Oh my gosh, that's an aggressive pile of blood right there. Come see this pile of blood. This is crazy.
I see that. It looks like 8 or 10 of them stacked on top of each other.
That's crazy right
Definitely
there.
More.
Let's see what it actually looks like. Well, that's a lie because there's a lung hit in there. Come see this. Come look at that that claim screen.
I don't think birds leave vital blood. You smoke that.
Yeah, that thing's dead. That thing's a goner. Absolute goner. But in terms of like the whole like different calibers, if Call of the Wild ever adds them in, they definitely need to have 2 or 3 different sizes. They probably should weigh a good amount just for balance. Obviously, I know that it's not necessarily realistic for like a smaller suppressor to weigh a crap ton in real life, but like for gameplay purposes, I definitely think that they should have like maybe a 2-unit weight just so that it's not like so overpowered, because that's like one of the biggest things that people worry about is like that they would just be too overpowered. It would make it so that you could shoot a bunch of animals without them spooking. So like I understand the whole concern with adding suppressors to the game, but just make them really heavy.
Yeah, game balance would be the biggest thing there. I think you could do it by weight for sure. I don't even know that it needs to be 2 units. 1 unit might be enough, because if you ran 4 rifles all with suppressors, you would need a backpack or something, which I guess, you know, they kind of made backpacks so they're not so bad anymore. But I think the other way to do it is just with how it interacts with the animals. So this is a good time we can just make a quick example out of these out here. So if I just back up to, make sure we're like 220 from that stag and fire into the air, he's going to stand up, he's going to go alert, and he's just going to hang around. I think you could do that exact same thing with suppressors, but then just move the distance in, whatever, 50 meters to whatever distance is reasonable. Just make it so they hear the shot, they go alert, but they don't spook till you're closer.
Yeah, I could see that. You want me to shoot this 5 or leave him? I don't know if you were planning to manage your Scotland red deer at any point.
Probably not. I'd say we can just take them both.
Okay, you want to go for the 4 or the 5?
Can take the 5. Oh, laying down.
Okay, I'll aim at the 4 then.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, because you got the tougher shot.
Fair enough. 3, 2, 1, shoot. Love that animation.
That was like
Nice
simultaneous,
shot.
Dude.
We're just like on the same wavelengths today.
Yeah. I gave him the 500 treatment, so he wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, no wonder he dropped.
Yeah. 500's a powerhouse. I love it.
Just a bit. Do you think you should be able to suppress that thing?
I mean, you could suppress a Barrett 50 cal, so I'd say yeah.
You talked about the weight. Maybe it should scale with the size of the suppressor.
Ooh, yeah. So like for the smaller suppressor, maybe 1 unit. For like a mid-range suppressor, like mid-range calibers, do like 1.5, and then for the big boy guns, do 2. That could be nice.
We're talking.
I could see that working pretty well. And like aside from like
470,
weight, the 470,
just make it 0 units, because then you'd actually use the gun. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and well, you definitely couldn't suppress the 470, I don't think, because it's a side by side.
Yeah, well, you could.
Well, you could, but it would be
that
difficult. So I think I've seen people suppress double-barreled shotguns before, and usually they have 2 separate suppressors. Which
seems
that'd make it really heavy.
Seems like a bit much.
Yeah,
That's
I would
very much.
I'd say for the sake of gameplay, just make it so that the 470 couldn't be suppressed, or like any double-barreled weapons, because it would get kind of weird looking.
Yeah, it might have a larger profile than your open sights at that stage.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, they'd probably have to not do that then. It would be cool,
Probably
but
best.
I mean, not everything needs to be suppressed. I mean, most of the time, like when you're hunting, you're primarily just going to be suppressing rifles. Like you're not really going to suppress your shotgun. I don't really know too many people that suppress a shotgun while hunting, but I know lots of people that would do it with rifles.
Yeah, usually with a shotgun, you're kind of perfectly happy to announce your presence anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And like outside of, speaking of announcing your presence, you know, what do you think the noise levels should be with suppressors, and should they spook animals from a like smaller distance? Because I feel like as long as it weighs enough, I'd be fine with them actually affecting the spook range, even if it's like, you know, just cuts it in half or something like that.
I think the distance at which they spook should be cut maybe like to 150-ish, because what is it, 200 now? Can maybe go a little bit lower, maybe 125, but then the alerted thing, now you're looking at they go alert at 126, I guess. Like, that's a huge difference. And maybe also on top of that, we did the red deer example earlier. If I had shot twice, he would have spooked. Maybe with the suppressor, there is no like stacking of that effect.
Yeah, I could see that being a very helpful feature to it, to where it would be useful, but maybe not too overpowered.
Yeah, and then like that applies really well to grinding, which I imagine is where a lot of people want suppressors, because
yeah, definitely
a lot of times you're killing 2 animals in one zone.
For sure. Another thing that would be kind of cool with the suppressors is add a new type of ammunition in, add subsonic ammo, and you don't get the full effects of the suppressor unless you use the subsonic ammo, which reduces range. So, I mean, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, or even, yeah, I guess it should reduce range too. It could, you know, your ammo stats, you could have lower penetration rating, lower expansion.
The thing about it, it would really only work that way with subsonic ammunition, because like if you shoot a supersonic round out of a suppressor, like it's not going to reduce its range or energy delivery. In fact, I think it actually increases it a little bit, because, you know, there's essentially more barrel for it to go down.
Yeah, I guess. Is it rifled? I don't even know much about suppressors.
So from my understanding, I believe suppressors do actually, they tend to increase accuracy and increase the like energy a little bit.
They'd have to be rifled in that situation, then, I think.
Maybe. This is what I've heard, at least. And I mean, I could be wrong, but like I hear this from like all the gun YouTubers, so I assume that it's probably pretty accurate.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity for anybody in the comments to let us know. But yeah, if they're rifled, then yeah, that makes 1,000% sense that it should do that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I know for sure is it doesn't decrease your range. I know that. It's not going to decrease your range.
Right.
Unless you're using a subsonic ammo. But the thing is, like, if you don't use subsonic ammo with a real suppressor, then it's not going to reduce the noise very much. Like, it will a little bit,
Yeah.
but not by a ton, which that could be a cool balance thing, you know, bring subsonic ammo in for every rifle in the game and make it so that if you're using the normal, like, poly tips or soft points, you only get, like, maybe a 15% noise reduction or a 20% noise reduction. But if you use that subsonic, you get, like, a 60% reduction or something.
That could work.
Because it makes it so you'd have to be, you know, a better shot, because there's going to be more bullet drop, but you'd get that increased reduction, which would be, I think, a cool trade-off to make it actually balance.
Yeah, I think there has to be some sort of balancing, some sort of trade-off there, because it'd be easy to be like, nah, I just want my rifle as is, but to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point, you need to like balance those things, or otherwise the game just reaches an end game state where nothing they could ever release in the future is going to be any good.
Yeah, true. Also, we have been going on about the suppressors for about 14 minutes, so let's switch over to the thermals. Almost died there. Crow's dying.
You're not supposed to eat the suppressor. We got to talk about it more, I think.
It silences rifles. I thought it could silence me.
I'm sure there's people that would like to use that on both of us.
Definitely. So if you guys want to know how to put a suppressor on a YouTube video, there's a mute button you can hit down below.
Nice.
I'm going to see if I can add the
thermal
feature.
on a YouTube video?
You put a thermal on yourself, and then everything is thermal.
like a thermal base layer. We should probably talk about the actual things and not whatever we're doing.
So thermal sights. I actually kind of like how Way of the
Yes.
Hunter did the thermal stuff, like having a clip-on thermal that just goes on any scope. I think that's really freaking cool.
Yep, low res as it should be. And did you mess with like? Did you see there's different modes effectively? Like there's
Yeah,
one that
yeah.
makes them red, and then there's the black and whites.
Yeah, I tried all 3 of the different modes. I like the traditional like thermal look, where it's like the red
Yeah.
and like the blue, the bright stuff, you know.
Yeah, they did well to like. If
You
you
wanna
look at
shoot
the
one of
animals,
these?
yeah, might as well take 2 of them.
You want to take the
your
left or
favorite.
the right?
Whichever. I'll take the one on the left.
I'll take the one on the right. 3,
All right.
2, 1.
That was a little weird, but we got him.
We got him. Oh, there's a larger one closer. Hey, buddy.
It was?
Yeah, the one running away that I've got highlighted.
Oh yeah.
He's not too bad. Beautiful.
Did that go through him? I don't understand how that didn't hit. He's dying now.
There you go. There's a lot of ghosts around here. My gosh.
Yeah, this area's insane.
Super loaded. But back to the clip-on thermals. I think it's a really cool feature, just being able to clip it on any scope. Like, imagine just being able to attach a thermal to your Odin sight.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be, it's not really the same thing, but for example, it shouldn't be like the angler scope, the night vision scope, where you can zoom in and it's like HD, perfect quality. It should be like
Yeah.
low resolution pixelated. Because at some, like, if you can just have a thermal scope that is perfect quality at 12x zoom or whatever the Odin goes to, I think it's 12, we're getting a little bit much here in terms of the things, the capabilities you suddenly have.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely think that it was a good choice by Way of the Hunter to make it low resolution, because it makes it so it's not too overpowered. I found that the most useful thing for it in Way of the Hunter was just being able to use it to scan the horizon to see if there's any animals you didn't see.
Especially in low light. Even in the forest.
Yeah,
where it's
for
dark.
sure. Yeah, like when it came to actually shooting animals, I found it quite difficult to like aim on the lungs because they're so pixelated. But I mean, it was a good way to make it so it wasn't overpowered or like unbalanced.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of makes it interesting here in Way of the Hunter, you can't just pop that thing off, which, I don't know, I guess in real life probably you could.
You definitely
in Call of
could.
the Wild, yeah, in Call of the Wild, just like you can middle mouse click and take your scope on or off, you can
Yeah.
just remove that clip-on. So maybe you spot it with the clip-on attached, and then like, oh, I didn't know there was a feral goat over there. Take the scope off and shoot it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think honestly the best way that they could implement it, they definitely would want to take some of the things that Way of the Hunter 2 did. Like I like the fact that it's a clip-on. However, you should have the ability to flip it up. Instead of like fully removing it, just flip it up. Because I've seen a lot of people have the like flip up ones. And those
Yeah,
are
that
like
works,
quite cool. That way it's like, and it would make the gun look really cool too. You know, you flip it and it goes up to the side and stuff.
I'm thinking for console utility, what buttons are left? I guess they could probably do a hold press for something to flip it up or down.
Maybe?
Because I know it's already, the controller is pretty well fully mapped now.
Okay, so this is where I would also take an idea from Way of the Hunter 2. Bring up your wheel. Like for me, it's middle mouse to bring up my wheel. And then you could press B or something like that to toggle to a different wheel and then highlight the attachment that you want to like remove. That would be cool.
That could work.
And it would kind of like, that's one of the things I think Way of the Hunter did pretty good with Way of the Hunter 2 was they made it so that the dog wheel and the equipment wheel, you know, it's like the same thing. You just hold down the X key, or you tap the X key and then you press another button or whatever to change wheels. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it is X twice. I couldn't remember, but I think it is.
Yeah, for controller players especially, I think it's definitely made with them in mind.
Oh, definitely, because it's much easier than doing a bunch of different button combos to get somewhere.
Right. Did you use the handheld thermal at all?
I didn't. No, I didn't have enough money to get it, and I didn't have the time to, like, grind it out.
So it's higher resolution in Way the Hunter 2. And
Okay.
I feel like it... Oh, you can spot through it. That was the other thing. That, actually, we got to go back to the clip-ons for a second. You should not be able to... You probably shouldn't be able to spot anything through any of them. Like, in no world, unless you're within, like, 20 meters, can you use a thermal and be like, oh, yes, that buck is a 7-year-old, and he's got 180 inches of antler. Nice shot. So, because, like, the antlers aren't going to show any heat, or not very little. So you probably shouldn't be able to spot through them. That would be another way to balance things out.
I could see that. I definitely think that would be a cool way to approach it to, again, make it so they're not too overpowered, but are still useful at the same time.
Yeah. So, this is not one of the games that we're talking about. You've played Deer Hunter 2005, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Love that game.
So, there was a, like, asterisk in the Trophy Lodge if you shot a...
I remember that.
And you used a thermal. I think if you had a thermal in your inventory that hunt, even if you didn't use it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to go that far, really, because I don't think it gives you that huge of an advantage, but, you know, if it were to be the case that, like, dude, this, I can see everything with this thermal. It is no problem to spot anything I want. There may come a time where, you know, more balancing is needed, but I thinking back to the fact that they did thermals 20 some odd years ago now. Be kind of neat to see it come to Call of the Wild in a different way.
Definitely. And I think another thing that Deer Hunter 2005 did was that it wasn't eligible for, like, record books and stuff like that if you shot it with a thermal.
Yes, you are correct.
Which, that's a cool thing. Obviously, you can't really do that in Call of the Wild because we don't really have, like, proper leaderboards or record books or anything. But, like, you could do something like that. Like, maybe just a tag in the Trophy Lodge that says, was hunted using thermal sights.
Yeah, and you could probably put that in the hard screen, too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can see that.
Again, if it even is that big an advantage, but when I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't know. It might actually be a pretty big deal.
I don't know, because, like,
if you could get up to a high point and just blast around at a rapid pace and see everything. I guess, though, as long as it removes the ability to spot, like, and get the spotting info, you still have to use your binos. It would just maybe help alert you to the fact that there's an animal there you don't see.
I just feel like with the way zones work and with the way the spotting outline and, like, spotting indicators work, like, you pretty easily can go to the top of a mountain and just scan around with your binoculars. You'll see, like, a highlighter, like a prompt pop up if you're anywhere near it.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if the thermal would be that much more of an advantage. So they might not even have to go to all the, like, different levels to nerf it. Like, they could just put it in as is, probably, and I don't think there'd be too much outrage.
I wonder how good, like, let's say red grouse were on this map at 200 meters, 300 meters. I wonder how good they'd show up, because that's what I'm thinking of, like, where it could actually have a big impact. If you could very quickly scan a big open area and, like, oh, there's a flock there, that might matter, but does anybody actually care if you found red grouse easier because he used a thermal? Probably not.
Yeah, because it's like you still got to get pretty close to even shoot them.
This is true.
So I feel like it wouldn't be too big of a problem. I think thermals would be less controversial than suppressors, just because I don't think there'd be much of an advantage to using thermals in Call of the Wild because of all the help we already have. But suppressors, it would greatly affect grinding, so I think that would be the one that has, like, a little more of a need to be balanced.
Yeah, especially if it in any way significantly reduced the distance at which animals spook from the shot, then I can see where people would be more annoyed by that, or, like, I don't want to call it pay to win, or we winning things by killing great ones, I guess, if that's the goal. But
yeah,
I can imagine that, like, Call of the Wild's pay to win, like, if you buy this DLC, your animals never spook again when you shoot. Like, I can see the comments already, so it would need to be balanced properly.
Yep. definitely it's such an interesting topic because there's so many people that are going to have very different opinions. So if you guys haven't already, leave a comment down below. What do you think about thermals? What do you think about suppressors? Would you like to see them like heavily balanced to make them a little bit less powerful, or would you like them to be put into the game just as they'd be in real life, which would be quite crazy? Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what everyone has to say. I think generally the opinion on suppressors is that they'd be a good thing, but let us know.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think we've kind of covered everything. I think that kind of wraps it up for the most part. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we end it?
No, I think that pretty well does it, all the way back to Deer Hunter 2005 and everything in between.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the things that we needed to with that. Really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to both myself and Flinter. Gonna obviously have a pop-up on screen if you're not aware of what his channel logo and stuff looks like. And if you guys haven't already, leave a comment, hit the like button, hype the video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace! Flinter sucks.
Wow.